All right, this week in golf, let's go over it and see what happened and what's changed in the world. Was just out last Friday and Saturday at Torrey Pines, just up the road. The PGA event was here and saw Max Homa put home the winning putt there on 18 on Saturday with the old Saturday finish. He's got a good name for the crowd as well because they were all chanting, Homa, Homa, Homa. So that was cool. And, you know, I got to tell you, one of the things I've noticed about the PGA over the years is that it always comes down to the back nine on the last day and who's ever playing the best and making the birdies. And it was really no different out there at Torrey. We were on the 14th hole. We went up on we were trying to get to the lead group, which was Ryder, Rahm, and Finau, but they were all falling off. And tribute to the golf course. I mean, Torrey is, not only is it long, but the rough is deep. And I think the final score was 13 under, right? But they play one day on that north course, and everybody that played on the north course was like 5 or 6 under par that day. So factor that into the 13 under. You're probably looking at, if they played, you know, exclusively on the north, you're probably looking at 6, 7 under par for a 4-day tournament. So, you know, that gives you an idea. Basically, people averaging like 2 under, the winner averaging probably 200 par a day. Now, having said that, Homa shot 66 on the last day. Keegan Bradley shot 66 on the last day. And there's your 1 and 2 right there down the stretch. So when we caught up to Homa's group, it was on 14, and he was over in the rough kind of by a tree. The reason we went over there is because there was like this corridor. It was probably like 8 feet wide, and he was in the back of it. The people had to get out of the way to hit through this little channel. And I wish somebody would have asked him at the end, because when he was standing in that corridor, his caddy said to him, 110, hit it 110. And from where we were standing, it was like 130. So I don't know, maybe he was trying to lay up and come up short. Maybe the tree was in his way. But anyways, he came up short on that shot. He chips on, and he ends up making a bogey. So he bogeys 14. He was doing pretty well. He did birdie 11, but he bogeys 14. And at that point, he's one behind. I think he's one behind Bradley at that point in time. So then he comes to 15, and he ends up with like this 10-foot putt that breaks right to left for par. And he made that. And then 16, he hits the shot of the day, you know, 230 into the wind up a hill. The south course, 16's a tough hole. The pin's all the way back there in the back. And he hits it to 15 feet. He makes that. And then he pars 17. But my favorite is 18, right? He's got a one-shot lead going into 18. And then he's in the fairway. He can go for it in 2. He's like probably 240 out, 250 out on the par 5. And instead of, you know, laying up and just going for the par, he decides to go for it. And kind of reminds me of how I play that hole, because I've hit it in, there's only one pond on the entire course at Torrey Pines, and it's in front of the 18th green. And God, I've hit it in that pond a bunch. I've laid up and hit it in that pond a couple of times. And so now my new theory is every time I get on that hole is if I'm 250 out, I just go for it. Because if I'm going to hit it in that pond, I'm hitting it into my second shot, not on my third. But anyways, he didn't hit it on. And so he hits it all the way to the back of the green. And he's just off the fringe, but he putts it, and he ends up 2-putting for birdie. So he ends up winning by 2. But he's up 1 going into the hole. Keegan Bradley had pretty much the same shot, and he pulled it just a tad, and there's a bunker on the left, and that pretty much sealed him into a par on that one. So you gotta love it though. These PGA Tour events, it's like they always come down to, you know, the guy who shoots 2 under on the back 9 ends up winning it, or, you know, is under par. Every now and then somebody limps to the end, but it's very rare. It's always, you know, somebody gets hot and puts some pressure on somebody and they fall off. Morikawa was in there. He didn't quite have what it took, but you know, I mean, the course took out Rahm, the course took out Ryder at the end there. Rahm couldn't make a 10-foot putt all day long, and that's all he was getting was 10-foot putts. So what are you going to do? The other tournament over the weekend, there was a tournament in Dubai, and Rory won that one, Rory McIlroy. And once again, this one comes down to the very end as well. He ends up beating Patrick Reed by 1 stroke. You never even know they played golf because all the news was that Patrick Reed threw a golf. Oh my God, he threw a golf tee at him. Can you imagine the animosity? These guys. I mean, golf really needs a villain. But Reed's a jackass. So anyway, Reed, what does he do? He bogeys 16 and then he birdies 18. So he's up 1. So when Rory's in the group behind, but when Rory's on the 16th hole, he's 1 behind. So he goes into 17, 1 down. He birdies 17 to tie it up, and then he gets to 18 and he rolls in a 20-footer, and so he's the winner. Back-to-back birdies. Once again, back 9, hottest guy on the course is going to win. So that's kind of that. Pretty good weekend. It was really fun being out there and getting to see everybody. Not only just the players, but now that I live in San Diego the last couple of years, you get to run into a lot of friends down there and in the golf community and just people in general. So that was wonderful. Yeah, so let's talk about this week. This week is the AT&T, and that's in Pebble Beach. And I gotta say, like, it's cool watching these, even if you watch them on TV, because, like, number one, the views are beautiful at Pebble. And there's been so many tournaments at Pebble over the years, the US Opens and then the AT&T. It's like, you know, all the holes, like, right? So you're like looking forward to them, 17, 18, obviously the ocean holes, 8, 9, 10, 7. So that's going to be cool. Kind of a similar format to Torrey in that they have to use different courses because they want to run a full field. So the way it'll work, it's Monterey Peninsula, Cypress Point, and Pebble. And then the final rounds at Pebble. So it's a 54-hole cut. And it's a celebrity event too. So every player has a celebrity partner and they play, I don't know what it is, some sort of scramble. But they play the 3 rounds and then there's a cut and then everybody plays on, not everybody. Then the final people just play on Sundays. So last year, Tom Hoagie won. And I don't know, it's a pretty good field. It's Spieth is out there, Fitzpatrick, U.S. Open winner, Victor Hovland. So this should be a good one. It's a good chance for Hovland to win. He won at the Hero World Challenge Tigers tournament in November, so that he could potentially win again for his 2nd win of the year. And our co-founder of Golf BPM, Doug Timmons, he'll be out there. I'll tell you a story about him. And then this poster right there, that's, we went many years ago to the Fillmore in San Francisco, and we saw Lukas Nelson play. And Doug's good friends with Lukas. He's been coaching him over the years, and they golf together all the time. And so we'll call him a friend of the app. But Lukas and Doug, so Lukas is playing, I'll have to confirm, but last year he played with Beau Hossler, and I believe he's playing with Beau Hossler again. And last year he had told Doug, so Doug caddies for Lukas during the tournament. And last year he told Doug, I want to make the cut. And after the first day, I think they were like, I don't know, maybe they were 2 under, and it just wasn't looking good for him. Because I think they played Monterey Bay Peninsula, which was the easiest course. And so they had to play Pebble and then Cypress. And the next day, I think Hossler shoots like 8 under, and then Saturday he shoots 8 under. And they ended up in the lead group. So they're in the final group. So it was cool watching them on TV, seeing Doug and Lukas, just kind of in the background. They're kind of like trying to stay out of Beau's way at that point. Unfortunately, Beau didn't play too good on the final day. He kind of got off to a rough start. And he had a good finish, but kind of sunk himself the first 4 or 5 holes. So And then I'll just leave it with this. I know there's this show coming out on Netflix. It's called Full Swing, and Justin Thomas is on. There's a few other people. Check out a trailer for that. That looks pretty exciting. They actually filmed it all last year, and a lot of these guys were kind of going over to live during some of that. So that looks pretty exciting. And I don't know, we'll check it out. That's I think it's mid-February when it comes out. So as of today, it's February 1st, and today is Wednesday. Golf starts tomorrow on Thursday at the AT&T. I got a couple tickets. Still on the fence of whether I'm going to go up there or not. But I really do want to go up there and check it out and have some fun. So have a great week. We'll talk to you next week and see how the tournament went, see how everything turned out, and tell you some new fun stories. All right, bye. Hey, it's Jeremy Callahan, and thanks for listening to This Week in Golf. Make sure and hit subscribe so you can get all the latest news and analysis from Golf BPM.